Good morning. It's Wednesday, March 5th. And we all know that Russia had a terrible time thinking about Ukraine joining NATO. Russia has an obsession. Now, it's probably not Russia. It's probably just Putin. Putin has an obsession with NATO. He has no tolerance for thinking that NATO could be on his border. Well, that is about to end severely, and we know that Sweden and Finland, as soon as Russia attacked Ukraine, Sweden and Finland applied for membership in NATO. So that's a year ago they applied for membership, or maybe before then. In any event, the good news is that Turkey has finally come and voted for the entrance of Finland into NATO. Now, I am sure that they will also vote yes on Sweden, but that may take a couple more months the way these things go. It was not that easy for Finland to gain entry to NATO because in order to be a member of NATO, all of the other members must vote yes for you. So Turkey was a holdout, but they finally came around. And I think the same situation will arise with Sweden. They're waiting for Turkey. But in any event, Russia will now not be very happy, particularly Putin. So Finland is the 31st country to join NATO. And that's more than doubling the U.S.-led military alliance border with Russia. So Sweden's entry into NATO was a very strategic move, because that puts a lot of pressure on Russia now. They have a lot of U.S. allies on their border, and they cannot be happy about that. But will that keep Putin under control? Who knows? Now, the rules for membership in NATO are not very complicated at all. New members must uphold democracy, and they must be in favor of including total diversity within their countries. And new members must be making progress in the market economy, and their military forces must be under firm civilian control. That means we can't have any dictator-type military leadership in the country. They have to be responsible to a civilian, like a president or a prime minister. And they must be good neighbors and respect the sovereignty outside their borders. It's not a very complicated set of rules in my eyes. But of course, with sets of rules like that, there will always be opposition that believes, for one reason or another, that somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But in any event, NATO is a good thing because it's able to keep countries like Russia under control. And remember, there are several nations that were part of Russia that are now members in NATO. And some of those members of NATO they don't have what we would consider 100% pure democracy, because they may have a strong man leader. And I think that's true in Hungary and a couple of other countries. And as far as I could see in reading some of the documents, there's nothing in NATO that says you must have election, that the leadership must be voted in by the general public. There's nothing like that as a requirement to be a member of NATO. So you have to be a democracy of some kind, but you can have a strong man leader and you can be fine. And you can be a good country, and so far as we can tell, that's the way it works. The rules for getting in with the 100% majority made it difficult for Ukraine, because Ukraine applied a long time ago, before Russia invaded it. When Russia annexed the Crimea, Ukraine applied for membership in NATO, and they haven't been accepted yet. So it's not easy to get in and to get all the other countries to vote unanimously for you. And I don't know exactly why they turned Ukraine down and why they considered Finland different. But I think Finland was a more stable country in the eyes of NATO and the NATO membership. And I don't know how many people refused to vote for Turkey. And I know that Erdogan of Turkey the leader of Turkey, is a strong man. He's not really a democratically elected leader. And so he may have some feelings about who and what these other leaders are in his decisions to allow them entry into NATO. So let's just look at the way Finland sits in this arrangement. Finland's border with Russia is 810 miles long. And that's a lot of territory to have to protect on your own. So this agreement that allowed them to join NATO gives them a huge boost in protecting their long border with Russia. I did not realize that Finland had that long a border with Russia, 810 miles. That's 25% of the width of the United States. So this is a big deal for Finland. And it's a big deal for NATO also. Because from what I can see of Finland, it's a good country. And it'll be a good ally. And so this truly, in my mind, strengthens the opposition to Russia. And it should make Putin very nervous. You know, back in 1939 and 1940, Russia and Finland fought a terrible war. And the Finns, being a much smaller country, still managed to hold off the Russians. And one of the reasons that people think that Hitler considered taking over all of Europe was because Great Britain and France did not come to Finland's assistance in that episode in the 1940s. So Hitler thought, well, they're not going to help one another, so I could just take over the whole place. That's a little-known fact, I believe. But Finland's been a tough country for a long time. And it's to their credit that they managed to have a decent lifestyle all this time being on the border with Russia. And maybe now they won't be looking over their shoulder as much as they may have over the past 50 or 60 years. But in any event, Finland is a tough country. They have survived a lot more than people realize in their existence. And it'd be a wonderful thing if NATO hurries up and gets gains and allows Sweden to enter that, because that will strengthen that border doubly. Because even though NATO has taken Finland in, Finland really doesn't have a huge army to support the length of their border. They're a peaceful country, and they probably only have a couple of thousand that are active in their army at this point in time. So this is a big step for them, and let us hope that it's a big step for NATO and that Sweden gains entry quickly. So I leave you with that this morning. A great move. Have a great day. Bye.